Okay.
But when you start a business with horses, probably the biggest alarming red flag you'll learn as a business owner is when the horses start going missing. Something is very wrong. One producer of the show Valatar, let's call her Emma, she invested over $25,000 of her own money into Valatar. She moved here with her horses. And after 2 performances, Valatar had 2 performances, opening night and the second performance. There's just a lot that could have been done better. They gather all the performers, producers, directors, all the staff in the massive tent. Maybe not the horses. And I imagine there's this very uplifting, motivating, but realistic conversation of like, let's take a few days off. Let's get some rest. Let's recoup. We did good, but we can do better. Let's think about all the ways that we can fix these little things. We had one customer who said this, another person did this. Obviously, this was a big, massive failure because we had a line of complaints like this. The shows themselves weren't necessarily horrendous, but the turnout was a lot slower than expected. Way slower. A lot of empty seats. I mean, it just made it an uncomfortable opening night. But also, there were just awkward moments in the show they can fix. Nevertheless, everybody gets a few days off, except Emma. She comes back because she's got to feed the horses. The horses don't know what an off day is. They need to eat. And when she goes to the stables, a good chunk of the horses are gone. They're missing. And they're all the Remley couple's personal horses. It's weird, but Tatiana is always doing weird things. Emma doesn't even think anything of it. She leaves and then comes back that night to check up on the horses again. And pretty much all the Remley horses are gone. And so she's asking around, and one of the other staffers, who's not really part of the performance, but maybe more so keeping the grounds, they're like, oh yeah, the Remley said something about how they were going to do a photo shoot, so they took all the horses for the photo shoot. Emma checks in the back. They didn't just take the horses. They took their harnesses, their tacks. The cabinets were filled with medicine for the horses. All gone. Emma starts freaking out. She tries to calling the Remlleys to figure out what's going on, if they know that their horses are missing. And when she gets a response, it's very cold, as if they didn't just spend the past few months of their lives completely intertwined trying to plan this entirely new horse show. She gets a response. The show is being canceled due to poor ticket sales.
This is after $20 million invested?
Yes.
That is bizarre.
That's just it. The Remlleys don't come back. They take their horses. They leave everybody else's horses, the giant red circus tent. They just leave 26 horses, 21 performers, 5 kids, 1 dog, and 1 cat, completely stranded. Nobody was paid. Nobody has money to transport themselves, let alone a horse, safely back to their home. Wow. Nobody even has money to feed the horses because that was supposed to be included. Everyone, for a lack of better words, they were just left to starve.
Dang.
So what the hell went wrong? A competitive horse rider who was brought in to help direct the show says, yeah, well, the Remlleys had no idea what they were doing about anything, which is pretty accurate. Cavalia, the experienced horse show, just 23 miles away. Why would anyone go to Valatar? But even though they have no clue what they're doing, the director says, it quickly became the Mark and Tatiana show, except neither of them are horse people and neither of them are show people. So what are we doing? They have no clue what they're doing, and that is going to lead them to leave a huge group of people and the rest of the San Diego community who now has to pick up, and they're all volunteering to try and feed the horses and get everybody back home because Delmare, California is a pretty tight-knit community. They are angry at the Remlleys, and they want the Remlleys to pay their dues, which ultimately ends with a decapitated horse statue head ending up in the Remley family bed.